Hello, friends, and welcome back again to another episode of Poetcast Unleashed, which is the official podcast interview show of Poetry Unleashed. We are a small but growing community of English speaking poets in Copenhagen, and this is a little sort of insight into some of our regulars. You can catch us every month. We've expanded from Den Lille, which was this little small stand-up spot with about room for 40 people, more or less, to HUSET in Copenhagen, which is much larger, and it's a great time to be alive. Today with me is a guest whom you've seen multiple times before. And yeah, I just want to welcome Eric. Hi.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you.
Yeah. Poetry Unleashed is moving on up with the new location and everything.
That's right. That's right. It's a real, it's success, And
Yeah,
we need to expand.
for sure.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I actually started a new job yesterday,
Yeah?
so all kinds of positive feelings at the moment.
Congratulations.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
So, want to jump into some poetry? Want to talk shop?
Yeah, let's do it. I have a text ready that I was ready to share as well. I don't know how quickly we're getting into that one.
I'll let you know. I want to hear a
Okay,
little
for
bit
sure.
about your background beforehand.
Yeah. So poetry started for me, I'm going on 17, 18 years of writing poetry. And it started for me writing rhymes in my journal when I was going through a tough time at university. I was just processing it. I remember I was listening to a lot of T.I. and Lil Wayne. They were the biggest artists at the time in hip hop. And I was just doing my versions of some of their songs and rhyming, inspired by some of their rhymes, and then like building on top of it. And then like it just became more poetic and less hip hop over time, but still with the hip hop influence.
What's the difference between more poetic and hip hop?
I wonder because, like, I just remember when I started, I would always get that feedback. You sound like a rapper, and I feel like I'm getting it slightly less now,
Uh huh.
and I'm okay with that. But I guess like I'm inspired by more hip hop than I listen to more hip hop than I read poetry, so it's always gonna be like that, I guess. So
Right.
I'll just have to take that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there any like best poets in hip hop, do you think? Some lyricists?
Yeah.
Oh.
So my favorite artist of all time in any genre is a rapper called Wale.
Uh-huh.
He's a Nigerian poet from Washington, D.C. Or he's a Nigerian rapper from Washington, D.C., but he uses poetry in his music. So in some of his best songs, he starts it with a spoken word piece
Hmm.
or ends it with a spoken word piece. And he uses wordplay like I use wordplay. And he's one of my biggest influences for sure. And he loves sports as well. I always have some sports references too.
Mm-hmm. You're a sports nerd.
Yeah, I love basketball. The
Mm-hmm.
season's on. I'm getting up plenty of inspiration, writing rhymes about my favorite players sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did a little piece about LA sports because I like my favorite NFL team is the LA Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some rhymes about my favorite players and then mixing in some of the other LA teams and then trying to get it out there on YouTube and trying to get someone to see it.
Yeah. What university did you go to?
I went to Roskilde University.
Okay.
So it's kind of like I feel like I wasn't loving it at the time because it was like academically I thought it was like missing some things and then like socially I wasn't really connecting with people either.
Mm-hmm.
But it got out of there, got the degree, and it can be used for something, I guess. But I feel like when I did high school, I did the International Baccalaureate, the IB,
Uh-huh.
International High School in Denmark, and then like I feel like I learned more about writing and English and writing long form content, short content. I learned more there than I did at university, actually.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
What's that program you're talking about? IB.
it's all over Europe. I think you can take it in all kinds of European high schools that are licensed for it, and it's called the International Baccalaureate. Oh, and I know someone did it in America as well, one of my friends.
Okay.
But it's like because usually then you can take all the subjects in English. You can just have Danish on a lower level, and then at my school I had like psychology higher level, history higher level, English A higher level, and then a couple of math and science subjects.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite subject?
My favorite subject was for a long time, my favorite subject was history, and it's what I wanted to study at university too. I had the best history teacher in ninth grade. But in high school, it was psychology because that was so new to me. I had never been taught psychology before, and like I feel like I still use it. I still read about human behavior sometimes. I love to read.
Right.
Um, it was just so exciting. We had this big end of high school assignment as well, and I wrote it in psychology about, is IQ changeable? Like, are
Okay.
you born as smart as you're ever going to be, or is it
Right.
genetic? Can you like influence it?
And what's the so what did you find out? Is it changeable? Can I get smarter?
Yeah, that's what I'm all about. Like ever since then, and even now, I always think about what they call the growth mindset as well. Like you're not stuck anywhere. You can always make it better.
Mm.
Maybe you can't go from an F to an A plus, but you can go from like a D to a B minus maybe. And that's all I'd ever want. Like just make the most of your potential, be the best version of yourself you can be.
Yeah. How many languages do you speak?
So I'm on English, Swahili, and Danish.
Okay. And have you ever been interested in picking up other languages, Russian or Chinese or French or anything of the sort?
Oh, well, one thing is, I went to international schools my whole life. So there was a year, for example, where I ended up having like 6 friends from Indonesia.
Okay.
And I could, not to oversell it or anything, but at the time I could keep up with a conversation in Indonesian.
Yeah.
Now I just remember all the bad words, of course. But and, and I did a poetry collection, and I had some of my favorite Indonesian swear words in it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I mean, this is the place to oversell your talents, by the way.
Yeah,
If
for
you want
sure,
to
for
do it,
sure.
this is the platform.
Fluent in Indonesian.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I've always dug languages and stuff and kind of can see
Yeah.
the direct connection between the aspects of intelligence and being, having language and having multiple languages and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And you speak Italian and
I speak
anything else?
Italian, Danish,
Yeah.
English, Spanish.
Oh,
I want to learn Russian and French right now.
yeah.
So yeah, to be able to read, classics in
Yeah.
the original language, but also to communicate with people I meet.
Swahili for me is I understand it. I can get by a little bit because the first language I learned, but English became my mother tongue. But for Swahili, because it's everything is spelled the way it's pronounced
Hmm.
phonetically, so I can get by a little bit. I've written a couple of Swahili sentences and poems. And I tried to pick up a Swahili novel and just like go from the beginning, and I didn't get that far, but at least I was getting somewhere. Like I was understanding a little bit.
Hmm.
But the story is that I was born in Tanzania, but only lived there for 4 years, and I've spent the rest of my life in Denmark. And then on the school side, I was going to English schools in Denmark.
Hmm. Did you go to school on Saturday as well?
Oh, what?
Did you go to school on Saturdays as well?
No, no, I didn't. I
Okay,
didn't.
I did. I did went to Italian school and
Oh,
kindergarten and stuff. It's a very Catholic thing,
yeah.
you know. But hey, lucky you, I guess. It was the worst thing to know you had a shorter weekend, but in hindsight, it's the best gift my mom ever gave me was to insist that me and my brother knew how to talk and write in Italian. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, and there's something about your poetic style as well, and I know as I could understand you do theater as well, like you write scripts. But there's something about your poetic style that shows like a level of that you get it in some different levels. Like there's an intelligent side, and then there's the more cultural meme kind of side, and more intelligent, more humor as well. And I just think sometimes when you have some good habits from school and childhood, they can translate to when you're older and communicating with people and being on
Absolutely.
stage as well.
Yeah, and I think you and I are similar in the sense that we're very interested in sort of figuring out who's either the best or very good at something and then trying to sort of learn and pick up
Yeah,
and imitate. And I think
yeah,
like being fungible, being like a sponge
yeah,
is so important in this life, especially nowadays where it makes sense to be like a whole human being, if that makes any sense,
for sure.
you know. Um so yeah, it's fun. I have fun with it.
Yeah,
Um
me too. I do a lot of reading, so I'm up to 22 books finished for the year. And
whoa. Holy
yeah,
shit.
last year I did 33, so I'm just trying to get to
Okay.
34.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I read about one of the coolest books I read this year was uh, um, a scientist, PhD scientist called Olga Hazan. Maybe
Mhm.
I'm butchering her name, but she was writing a book about is personality changeable? So it was talking about these core personality traits that lead to happiness and more
Mhm.
satisfaction, like being less neurotic,
Mhm.
being bold with your choices, being conscientious, like respecting people's time and your own time, like this little category.
Mhm.
And it's just like I love to read because I'm exposed to other writing styles and also maybe reading more artistic, poetic kind of things. But when I can get like some psychological information that I can use about becoming better as a person and becoming happier, I'm always gonna jump on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel you. I feel you. I've also been so interested in psychology from like an outsider's perspective, I'd say. I haven't studied it.
Yeah,
I did philosophy, but I've always gravitated towards it. And yeah, I think I have like a yeah, okay, so this is the platform where you can sort of toot your own horn. But I have
right.
like a very good judge of character.
Yeah,
When people are very neurotic or when they are sort of shifty or when they aren't confident in their own skin, I immediately pick up on it and sort of very quickly tell myself, oh, well, at least you're not like that. At least
yeah,
you allow yourself to be happy or not be defined by your weaknesses or by your psychoses or diagnoses.
right.
So yeah, and also conscientiousness as well. It's just like
Yeah,
I get so much out of being uh generous and kind, and obviously it's like it's a self replicating cycle. There's a selfish aspect of it. I
yeah,
get something out of being, giving gifts or whatever, or back rubs, or you name it, cooking for
yeah,
people.
yeah,
But at the same time, I know it's nice for them, so it's yeah, it's just it's nice. And you have sort of found like a person who's also like very interested in saying, well, how do I upgrade
yeah.
myself?
Always trying to get better.
Yeah. Always try to get better, yeah.
And then like on the psychology side and on the giving back side, the job I've gotten is a mental health mentor kind of role that
Okay.
they've created in Danish hospitals and mental health functions. So it's like I've been through a diagnosis and hospitalization, all kinds of struggles, and then like I've recovered and I'm on the other side.
Mm.
And then the role is recovery mentor. So I just started that yesterday. Sitting in a room with some doctors and nurses and then gonna learn more about the patient soon. But it's just like trying to give back in that sense as well.
Yeah. Do you use poetry in that work? I know you've just started,
Yeah.
but
Oh, I talked about it in the job interview. I was like, we can break down song lyrics, and I actually have some Danish poetry that I haven't shown anyone
okay.
except my 87-year-old family friend. But they're about those kind of struggles, and it's just like that could be the perfect place to open up and have someone hear them.
Mm.
Because like there's Danish poetry stages, but then you have to be like, okay, I'm speaking Danish with my little accent, even though I've been here a long time, and I'm talking about the most vulnerable things. But like in that setting, I'm ready to open up in that setting for sure.
Yeah. An accent is just shows that you speak multiple languages,
I was just thinking, yeah,
It's not a bad thing to have an accent. It's
true.
but also there's also writing poetry. Like how would
Yeah,
you with a patient or whatever, how would you sort of go about writing a
yeah.
poem?
Well, one thing I can reveal without it being too revealing
Mm,
that I talked to a colleague about was, people are in different stages,
mm,
and when they're in the hardest stage, they might not be ready for it. But once they are ready to open up, I mean, it can be anything from saying, okay, this is an alliteration when there's a consonant sound that repeats, or this is a metaphor when you use a figure of speech, or this is a simile if you use like or as, and those kind of things, and
Mm,
this is an AABB rhyme, and all those technical things.
mm,
But it can also be like just say what you're feeling, put a rhythm to it, see if you can think of a rhyme, and you don't have to share it with me, but maybe you just want it for yourself, or maybe you wanted to say something to your mom about what she meant to you, and you can do it in rhyme form and give it to her. And
mm.
if you have any questions, ask me. Like it could be that kind of thing.
Yeah. Have you ever read comic books?
I used to. So when I was learning Danish, as a kid, I read the Danish ones.
Okay. Like what?
There was one called Bassano. It was like about
Yeah,
these
sure. Yeah.
Right, that was
Yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, the
And
military
also the
barracks.
Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Um,
ask because like obviously there's a lot of overlap between hip hop and like superhero comics.
yeah.
And I I I got good at English reading stuff from the American publishers and whatnot, and obviously, if one is not prejudiced against the genre as such, you can really
Yeah.
figure out how some writers use words differently than others. And I was taught a lot about like rhythm in
Mm.
sentences from the little text panels and that yeah, there's a guy, Stan Lee's successor at Marvel Comics, Roy
Yeah.
Thomas. He wrote very grandiose style, almost Shakespearean, and he could
Yeah.
write about the Silver Surfer or about like the cosmic universe, and it could be incredibly large and very small as well, very emotional and it just like enlarged the field in a sense. It wasn't just funny books
Yeah.
but it was so much more, and that sort of was a platform for me to research other literature and stuff as well. So I was just interested whether you had dug into Marvel Comics as well.
Okay, I've gotten into watching a little bit of the Avengers and things like that, and
Yeah,
I do love Black Panther.
yeah. But listen, the films don't count, my friend. I
Okay,
can
okay, I
tell you
need to,
that
I need
as
to
a
get a little stuff,
Puritan, you got
a
to go
little
for the
stuff for
comics.
purity.
It's fine to watch the films and enjoy them for sure, but
Yeah.
you have to pick up the comics.
Oh, I'm curious.
And if you like Black Panther, I really recommend the run from the 70s by Don Heck. It's called Jungle Action. And it
Okay.
and it just goes through this whole concept of being like a king and what does it mean to be a king, even when people
Yeah.
don't like you. And it's just a whole sort of yeah, it was a very moving run for me to read back then when I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's something about intelligence in comic books too, because
Mm.
like a doctor like doctor treating me
Mm.
recommended the Telltale Joke.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like get a hold of that if you love these comic books.
Yeah.
I was looking at some at the time as well. But
Yeah, Batman is also there's a reason why he's so popular. He's got probably the best comics. I'm very much a connoisseur. I know every single storyline with every single character, but I
yeah.
keep coming back to Batman and Superman as being like my favorites because they just
Oh,
work, you know?
yeah. They stood the test of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like as archetypal figures, they just work. One is sun, the other one is moon, one doesn't have to fight but does it. The other one can do nothing but fight and stuff. And it's just like very, yeah, archetypal.
Yeah, and there's also something about trauma in Batman losing his parents, and then
Yeah,
like,
most of the superheroes have those origin stories that are sort of marred in violence and loss,
yeah.
Spider-Man is a good example of that as well.
Oh, cool thing about Spider-Man, like in 1997, I bought a Spider-Man comic book. It was the first one ever published in Denmark. It wasn't from 97, it was from some time before that, but in 97, I got a hold of it, and I still have it. I was like, maybe this is going to be valuable to
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah. Illicup, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
number one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably, if it's well kept. I don't really know the going rate for it, but
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I can also keep it as a private thing, but
yeah. Yeah. What else are you inspired by? We talking.
so
You mentioned hip hop. You mentioned mental struggles in
yeah.
yeah in a personal sense.
Yeah. I'm inspired by um I've had a blog before which was about life lessons from sports.
Uh-huh.
So I love things like teamwork and leadership, self-improvement, dedication that come from sports.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge inspiration. And then like close relationships, like when my mom turned 60, I gave her a book of the poems I had written about her over the years, and there were like 30 of them. So her like love for me and family relations, like people in my life, like if they're there permanently, if they're there for a season, if the relationship changes,
Mm.
those are some things I take great inspiration in. I've written a lot about network as well and how it can change suddenly and can be down and then build it back up.
Yeah. I'm reminded of this. There's a Spanish philosopher called Ortega y Gasset who
Yeah,
writes about sports in a philosophical sense. He talks about what sports actually are and how it's a necessary part of being human.
yeah,
You have these specific rules. You're not supposed to break them, and
yeah.
you can allow yourself a lot in these limits. And I think he also sort of makes parallels to politics and how politics is a
Mhm.
type of sport as well. So
Yeah,
if you want, I can send you his name, and you can sort of look
yeah.
it up a
You're
little
giving
bit.
so many golden like references. I want them all. Yeah.
Yeah. What
And
did?
even like
Yeah. Go ahead.
some of my most recent poems, they're inspired by this personal trainer called Tim Grover, who's become a keynote speaker.
Uh huh.
And he was Michael Jordan's trainer, like not coach, but like the guy who got him physically stronger. And then he talks about these concepts, and one that stuck with me was embracing your dark side.
Yeah.
So if you have like kind of like obsessive traits in something, like use them to your advantage. You can't run away from them.
Yeah.
You can't be an angel all the time and like just make it work for you instead of making it work you.
Yeah. Yeah. That. I mean, that clearly sounds like your shadow from Carl Jung's psychoanalysis.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, many people aren't really interested in finding out exactly who and what they are. And I
yeah, true.
also think there's an upper limit. You shouldn't know too much about yourself to still be able to enjoy life.
Yeah,
It's about finding balance. You want to live an examined life, but don't be, obsessive about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the poem that came out of that thought, one of them was, when I'm obsessed with the problem, I get obsessed with the solution.
Okay.
So if you have something like you're really striving for, it has to happen, you really have to have it, then put in the effort that would make sense for you to get it. And that's like a way of me using my dark side
Mm-hmm.
to for my benefit, kind of.
Yeah. Do you ever think about like your skill of association?
Oh, yeah. And I remember someone wasn't too happy with it at some point. Someone I used to see regularly is like, you always have these non sequiturs, as they're called, like it just like going from one thing to the next. But I see it as like a superpower, like making connections, like from if I'm using a poem where Michael Jordan is like the flower in the garden or whatever it might be, like it's just like because using some of these references, it makes things more tangible, and they're pop culture references usually. So it's like, oh, I didn't think of it like that, and I do
Mm-hmm.
know that celebrity. I have heard of Sydney Sweeney and use her in like 10 poems. So it's like using people and characters from shows that people know, and it can make things more for people who aren't used to listening to poetry as well. It can make it more like accessible and easy to get into, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. When someone tells you that or criticize you for your non sequiturs, it only shows that they don't have the power of association that you do.
Right.
You know,
It's
the
all about like embracing, and like obviously it made an impression because I still remember him saying it, but it's just like,
Mhm.
like I love the quote, "Everything I'm not made me everything I am" as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of associations as well. That it's
Yeah,
it's it's weird how you sort of make the connection. And I think as a writer, you're the one who's supposed to hold people's hand in a certain way. Maybe it's just hold their pinky, but
Yeah.
sort of guide them and make them understand a little bit what you are already knowing, right?
Yes. Because like I could talk about a basketball player from the 1970s that no one has heard of,
Who?
and I might still do it, but I think I've gotten better at being like, okay, but let me tell you why I'm talking about him.
Yeah,
Let me explain the background behind him and
yeah.
what he was good at and how even if you haven't seen a game that you might understand why I'm a fan of his.
Hmm. And also, when people read your stuff, when they
Yeah,
have it physically in front of you, they always have the possibility of sort of go and look it up themselves. That's I know how I got smarter as a kid. I know that's how you got smarter as a kid. You went and
yeah,
looked stuff up that you didn't know about.
yeah. And on that note, like sometimes if I post a video now, I might put the captions on it because if I just say an athlete's name quickly, you might not know who I'm
Sure.
referring to, but I put captions or on the video or I'm in the written text as well, like put the whole text in there. Like, and even better is when people ask me. I love when getting approached at these poetry events. Like, I like that. I didn't get that, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy to explain always.
Mm-hmm. What does your mom think about your poetry?
I mean, I've made her cry sometimes. Like, and I even said it in another text. Like, I'm bringing mamas to tears. It's just like she's my biggest fan, but
Mm.
of course, like uh, I'm an adult, and like if there's something I'm saying that isn't mom friendly, then I don't share it with her.
Sure, you don't invite her, yeah. Yeah.
But she loves the stuff about her, and she's always like she sends like such thoughtful messages like thanks for honoring me again with your text and she doesn't get tired of it. Is a
Mm.
nice thing too. I've been doing it for years too.
Mm. Did you have like a family member who was a poet or something creative in that sense? Or
Not one I grew up with, but I mentioned my 87-year-old family friend. She told me that my father used to write poetry, and I never grew up with him. We were always in different countries, and he got away from it as well. But it's just like, oh, I started writing this, and I didn't realize he used to do that too. So,
mm.
there's the part of it I got from him, but then my mom would write these long, beautiful birthday cards, like on physical cards, and I have all of them from age like 7 to 19, and she was like expressing the most beautiful emotions in all of them, and I got a lot of empathy from her. So I feel like it's like this good combination of two parents and just growing up sensitive as well, and like always being into expressing feelings.
Mm. Did you have any mentors growing up or someone who
Oh yeah, the best teachers I had were the English teachers. So
okay.
I remember, I remember I was just getting into writing, and my favorite teacher, Jim, he was like, he could see I had a little like spice to my writing, and but during some of the exams, I would like write really plain, and he was just like, "You got it. Don't write plain."
Okay.
And
What do you
that,
mean? What do you mean? What
oh,
when
okay, I'll explain.
yeah.
Like, and he was just like, use your personality in the writing as well. Like, I wish I could remember the example, but it led. How I took it was like, then in some exam I was like, it was the Christina Aguilera time, and I was like, she was stripped like Christina Aguilera or something like that. But it's just like I would write the difference between writing the house was green and writing something like it was a beautiful grass flowered apartment or like so just using maybe kind of more flowery language but more just like writing with enthusiasm. That's
Sure.
how I took it. Like and I've always like since then I've always written with enthusiasm, and I really give him all the credit for it.
Mm.
And then in high school, that IB thing again, I had this teacher who was a former theater guy in London, and he was like, he taught me some fundamentals. Like, so when you notice this kind of metaphor in a text, it's because the author wanted to draw attention to something in this part of the text. So if all of a sudden character is struggling and the rainstorm comes and it's thundering, you have to pay extra attention to that part. So that's where I got some of the fundamentals, combined it with the enthusiasm from the previous teacher, and that was like the foundation for everything.
Have you written prose ever? Short stories?
Yeah, I got a few, and so my favorite genre to write is actually prose-inspired blogs. So it's like longer form, it's storytelling, but then all of a sudden there's a rhyme and a pop culture reference as well. So it's like the same kind of things I love about poetry. I actually have a collection home for the holidays. It's done, but it's not like I haven't figured out what to do with it. And it's prose, poetry, and theater about homelessness.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever been homeless yourself?
Yeah. So it was in connection with a mental health emergency, lost my home, and I ended up hospitalized. And like during the whole hospitalization, I was homeless, didn't have a pot to piss in. But it was just like I remembered something from when I was a university student that if you have a diagnosis, you can get student housing in a very short time, like in a matter of weeks. Like if you have severe enough to be hospitalized mental diagnosis, want to be a student. So long story short, I signed up for some education, got the student housing, and I never had to set foot in a shelter.
Okay.
But I was like 1 week away. I was on the phone with the shelter.
Damn.
And I was talking to people in the hospital who had been to shelters, and I had talked to the head of the shelters, like, if you have any other options, don't come here. And whatever, something I learned and I put in the text as well, whatever you own, if you don't sleep with it on you, it's gonna be gone in the morning.
Yeah.
So, and I learned like details like it's like a jail kind of setting. There's a lot of fights. There's drug abuse, like endless drugs, and so I'm just happy I avoided it for sure.
Yeah. And now you've written about it.
Yeah, the whole collection, like got a couple of plays, couple of short stories. I created a character called Fred, and it was like about this accident I had where, in a mentally ill state, I went, as rough as it sounds, I went through a window. And I came out unscathed, like just a couple of scratches, and it was just like super fortunate. But I just created like a short story about Fred getting pushed by the devil through the window, and his uncle had sprayed some angel dust on the windows, like to make him survive. And then he gained superpowers after the crash, and it was just like a way of taking a very tough situation and taking the power out of it, or taking the negativity out of it, and just like turning it into something positive. And it's one of my proudest things, my proudest texts I've written, best texts I've
And
written.
it's part of this collection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Does Fred appear as a character in your other texts?
Oh, so I've written, there's 3 parts to the Fred story, at least, like 3 short stories, short prose stories with Fred, but I haven't used them elsewhere. Then it was just other characters.
Yeah. What's it called, the collection?
It's called Kicked Off the Home Team.
Okay.
And it's like it's like the sports metaphor of like or the sports concept of like the team with the home court advantage, and I had no home court advantage because I had no home, so kicked off the home team.
Are you gonna get it published?
I'd love
Hopefully.
to. I'm just thinking about if I just need to build up my audience and then put it out on my website. I have a couple of websites as a digital download, or if I should self-publish.
You should
Where to
self-publish. If you ask me, I know you're not, but
Oh,
self-publish
go for
it.
it. Yeah.
Self-publish it
Okay.
and then just bring it to all your events anyway.
Yeah, it's the best, and it has the little poetry, the best I've done, and it has the little poetry, little short stories, and a real message, and it's actually factual. Like I haven't exaggerated any things. Like this is like me being a kind of journalist reporting what I've heard happens at homeless shelters, for example. Okay.
You heard it here, folks. You know,
Yeah, it's coming
get
out, coming
Eric's
soon.
collection Kicked Off the Home Team as soon as you can. Do you have a text you'd like to read for us? Just any
Yeah, I got
text?
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
prepare
chose
one.
one I thought was relevant.
Hmm.
And of course, there's a little basketball reference, and I'm going to explain it. So, the reason I chose this one was I haven't shared it elsewhere. It has like some of the new rhythm kind of things I've done. Like I've tried to do a little song structure with a little repetition to create rhythm. I once performed with a African dancer and drummer, and they were like, use repetition. And I perform poetry, and they're like, use repetition, say it 3 times, like say it slowly. And this has some of those rhythm things, and it's about a tough time in the past, and I haven't shared it before, so here it comes. It's called Hell. Am I going to jail? Am I going to hell? I know I've done too much to fail. They want me to never breathe again like Tony Braxton. I'm done waiting to exhale. Overcome too much to care about little such and such. This is my face card, I never touched it up. I used to be young, drinking, till throwing up till they filled the bucket up. Demons, but they were hidden in my demeanor. One day I'll be as iconic as the basketball player Allen Iverson. His nickname is Bubba Chuck. They used to look down on me till they drowned in my wave and the way I continue to run it up.
Oh, okay, all right. Demons in my demeanor, huh?
And it's about that dark side again. Like you
Yeah,
never know it's gonna rear its head. I guess.
yeah, yeah. And it's always, it always strikes me how you're very good at putting in names of figures and pop cultural references and stuff. And it in a one could say it dates you in a certain sense,
Right.
right? Will
It's a
people
2000 reference.
Yeah, will people understand it in 100 years? But at the same
Oh
time, you could
yeah.
also say it is what a voice of a generation does, is obviously pick up stuff that is relevant
Yeah.
for a given era.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It can go both ways, but it's just like um and I can feel it's as I'm getting older, maybe I'm getting more nostalgic. The references are more like from my time. Like I have a poem called "My Favorite Color Is Rachel Green," like
Yeah, from
from the
Friends.
Friends character.
Yeah. Yeah. My uh I was talking to my girlfriend. I was like and we kind of talked about Friends, and
Yeah,
I think many guys think they are Chandler, I think.
yeah.
But she was like, "You're giving Phoebe." And I was like, "Wait, I am." I am Phoebe. And she was like, "Yeah, and can you explain it to me?" I asked. And she was like, "Yeah, you're, whimsical and lighthearted, and you always want to do something fun
Yeah,
and
and
you,
she writes music,
yeah,
plays guitar and stuff,
yeah, she does all
creative.
sorts of creative stuff." And she was like, "You would get pregnant for your step brothers, whatever, you."
That loyalty.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
beautiful
That's
thing too.
exactly what she said. You're loyal to a
Yeah,
fault. I'm like, yeah, well, okay, yeah, I'll take it. I'll be Phoebe for sure.
yeah. I wonder. Okay,
Who are
uh,
you?
um, mm, so there's a Ross thing like recovering neurotic,
Mm.
but I'm trying to think of like a more like a fringe character, like someone who you'd remember but who isn't like. Mm. I guess I like Richard, like Monica's ex-boyfriend. Like he's kind of like the strong silent type or something. Like,
Sure.
how
Are
about
you the
that?
strong silent type?
Self-proclaimed strong silent
Yeah,
type.
sure. Yeah. uh Listen, I see you're doing very good on socials and stuff.
Oh, thank you.
You're showing up in different places and stuff. Do you want to talk about it a little bit? What's been going on?
Oh, okay. So one thing has been I realized I was sitting on some great content. Like one thing is like I've directed 4 plays that have been performed, including one man show. I have done interviews with an NBA champion. I've interviewed Craig David and like Grammy winning songwriters. And it's like I was just sitting on the content. I was like, maybe my voice sounds kind of funny in this clip, or maybe the video isn't that good quality. It's from 2015, and I was just like, let me put it out. I'm gonna just put it out one at a time. And then where I really took off lately, and I got some pushback on it, is like I met my cousin. He was visiting from Tanzania, and we talked about AI, and he was talking about storytelling in video form with AI. And I had some scripts. Like for example, I have a script about a mental health emergency that involved an ambulance, and I can't book an ambulance, and I can't film at a hospital, but I can make one in AI.
Right.
And I've in the last maybe week have gone from getting like 30 views on YouTube Shorts to getting like 1,500 to 2,000, and I'm
Yeah.
still exploring with where it can go, but I'm very proud of those that growth.
Yeah. Is it on your personal YouTube?
Yeah, on the YouTube Shorts, and I put a couple of them on Instagram
Can you
recently.
plug it here? I'll also put it in the description down below.
Okay, for sure, for sure.
But what's a
Um,
YouTube handle?
so it's my full name, Eric Maganga. I can spell it out or link to it, but it's just youtube.com/Eric Maganga.
Mm-hmm. So how do you get a former NBA champ to sit down for an
Oh,
interview?
and he was playing at the time too, and he was in the mix and everything. I give credit to a former colleague. I was working at Velux, and then
Is
one
that
of
a
the
shoe company?
no, they're the ones who make windows, like a Danish
Oh, okay.
window design
Okay.
company.
Yeah.
Oh, but I get it.
It means
So I was
speed
working
in,
with this.
in Latin. That's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I worked with this guy who loved journalism, and he had worked at the newspaper, and he told me, if you want an international artist to give you an interview, write their manager, say, I'm from the only regularly published newspaper in Denmark, the Copenhagen Post, it was at the
Mm,
time.
mm.
I'd like to set up an interview. And just, they hear Copenhagen Post and they think New York Post or something, like they don't
Sure.
know the, the, the scope of it. And not for good or bad, but I just got so far with that line. Like, I'm from the only regularly published newspaper in Denmark.
Yeah.
And I got like, and I, some big names, but also some people I really wanted to talk to whose music I listen to often, who I think are more underground and bubbling. So, and then a cool thing or a terrible thing about the NBA guy was like, I had him read a part of my poem, which is something I asked a lot of artists to do. Like, would you read a sentence from my poem? And he stumbled over it. And he
Oh
got so
no.
embarrassed that he was like, don't ever let this guy interview NBA players again. Is he even from a
No.
big paper?
No. Wait, he attacked you?
He got me blackballed. The
No.
next year I tried to interview another NBA player. They're like, Chris Middleton wasn't very satisfied with the way you approached it, and so I embarrassed him. And I still have the video. I have it like edited so it doesn't sound like he's stuttering, but I have it, and it's actually going to be my next post on social media.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh,
What?
and you love film, I could gather, or
Yeah, somewhat,
and you
yeah.
might be interested to know that I talked to Patton Oswalt.
Really?
Yeah, I got
He's
an
such a
interview with him.
nerd. He is an
Yeah, for
incredible
sure.
nerd.
Yes.
Yeah. What did you talk with him about?
He was coming to Copenhagen to perform at DR Concerthuset, I
Hmm.
think. So I just talked to the concert organizers, like, can I talk to Patton? And said yes, and he said yes. And then I have a clip on YouTube as well where I have him reading something I wrote. And I had musicians and NBA players read stuff I wrote, but he was an actor reading what I wrote. And the text he read was a sentence saying, I once thought all my friends would leave if I stared at them the wrong way, but I'm a young, handsome thief. I stole their hearts and they got lost in my eyes anyway.
Oh, all
So
right.
it's like directed by me in that
Yeah.
sense. So,
And he delivered it perfectly.
yeah,
Yeah. Wow. What about Craig David? How did you get him?
same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and then like on the being blackballed side, this is a funny story. I know I shared it too. I had a contact to the concert organizers called All Things Live. Like there's Live Nation and then there's All Things Live in Denmark, pretty much. And the Smash Bang Pow, a couple of those other ones. And they were like just so happy that I was so willing to do their interviews for them and like get their promotion for their artists. And I just asked, I was like, can I talk to Craig? And it was a phone call. He was super cool. He read a poem I wrote about mental health
Wow.
for me. And he called me a gentleman. I told him all of my favorite songs he had done, all the nostalgia. There I go, aging myself again.
Yeah.
But then, like, I had a mental health emergency where a doctor got me completely off medication when I needed to be on medication. And I had all my email addresses, all my contacts, started reaching out while I was sick, and they aren't answering my emails anymore.
Okay.
I'm at peace with it, like, and also because I've done the previous interviews, I can get new interviews other places, and luckily I didn't mess up my Live Nation contact. But it's just like, I mean, that's part of it, but it's just like they won't answer my emails, and there are other people who are not in professional settings that also won't answer my emails, like,
Yeah.
because when you get spicy, not everyone can take it, and that changed my network a lot in like 2022.
Listen, I guess you can't really be a shooting star without burning a few bridges along the way.
Yes, I love that. I'm gonna steal that too.
You got my permission. Finagle it a little bit.
Okay, sure. Writing it down.
But so do you have any interviews planned ahead?
Oh, let me see what I got. Oh, I tried to get one with the R&B singer Bilal,
Mm-hmm.
but recently I did one with a singer called Eric Bellinger,
Okay.
and he has written for Usher, Chris Brown, Justin Bieber. Like, there's photos of him with Justin Bieber, and then there's photos of him with me. So that's awesome to me.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
But now I'm like I'm more taking it as it comes. I have a blog where I'm gonna write about tech products, so
Mhm.
moving on to something a bit different. But whenever an artist I like is coming to town, I'm always gonna hit him up and say, not only I'm from the only regularly published newspaper in Denmark, but then the thing with, like, I have a list of other interviews I've done, so it's like I can show them and be like, you can trust me with this
Sure.
interview.
This is the
Yeah,
pedigree. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow, this is I'm very happy for you. I
Oh,
know
thank you,
that
thank you.
these are some yeah, some years old, some of them, right? But
Yeah,
still, you
exactly.
look like you're doing good and you got traction and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Will
I'm
you
just gonna keep building. And
Yeah.
also, like, I feel like on the Poetry Unleashed side, like, since coming to this event, I've developed my rhythm and performance a lot.
Hmm.
So I've been writing poetry for 17 years, been performing poetry for 11 years. But I'll honestly say the last year and a half coming to this event, Poetry Unleashed, that's where I've made the most growth
Hmm.
as a performer. So
Yeah.
thank you, Poetry Unleashed, on that.
I feel it. I mean, it's all thanks to Arena. She's really
Right, exactly, exactly.
the godmother of this thing. But I absolutely agree with you as well. It's been so fruitful and
Yeah,
yeah, it's just and you can sort of tell as well, just thinking back a year and a half ago,
yeah,
seeing people's performance and sort of saying, "Whoa, you can see the growth in people," right? I feel
yeah.
like, you know?
Yeah, and I had early on, Arena saw the potential in my performance, and she told me, I can share what she told me, but she said, have a theme for your set. You like rhythm, so really lean into the rhythm.
Mm,
Take a breath, take up space, and I use as many of those as I can, as often as I can remember. But
mm.
just thinking in terms of what can make a performance better, thinking along those lines, like, that helps so much. Like, that's half the battle.
So, are you coming on the 14th of November, our next
I
event?
literally wrote Arena today as the space on the list, and I'm gonna ask you, put pressure on you on camera too, because I'd really like to as well. I'm free,
Yeah.
so
The theme is going to be breasts.
yeah,
So,
I got some for that.
yeah, lots to talk about. The theme was chosen by a draw of the hat.
I was there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
a real handful.
yeah, a real handful. Yeah, say that again. So that's gonna be fun. I don't know exactly who's gonna host it, but
Oh yeah, they're looking for someone.
they're looking for someone. Yeah, it's gonna be at the 14th of November at 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
Um, where can people find you? Can you tell us that before we wind down?
yeah. Instagram, Eric's Projections, and it's inspired by that psychological concept of things you feel about yourself, you project onto others. Like if there's something you think you're bad at, then you say everyone's bad at it. And I was just trying to own that. And then I called the page Eric's Projections. And then YouTube, Eric Maganga. Find me on LinkedIn too, Eric Maganga.
All right.
Trying to grow.
Perfect. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
You too.
All
I
right.
love doing it. Oh, thank you.
And I'll see you on the 14th.
I'll be there.
Okay. See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.